you was the announcements. Any kind of announcements that I have, I will be putting them right here. Um, I've got the first one that's just kind of explaining how I've got my course set up. I'm not going to read all that to you. Just kind of want to just let you know it's there. And whenever I have a new announcement, it'll appear right here. And you should be receiving an email every time I make an announcement, so that way you'll be alerted that you need to check out your announcements. Second thing I want to show you was my syllabus. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I just wanted to touch on a couple things that I felt were important and that sometimes people are a little bit confused about. So the whole syllabus is right here. You can just kind of scroll down and look at all of it there. And you could also just click on here, download it, and print it out. I would recommend that because I've got a section of the syllabus assignments at a glance right here, a couple pages down, a few pages down. And you could just print this, if you just want to print this section out, this would be all the assignments in one place with due dates. You can just sort of check it off as you go and kind of keep track of things. Because it's easy to get a little bit behind on stuff. So this kind of just has it all in one place that you can just keep track of everything. So a couple things I wanted to mention here. First thing is the textbook. You do need to purchase the textbook, but it can be used, and you can get it off of Amazon for about 10 bucks. You do not need the Connect feature. You don't need DVDs, anything like that. You just need the textbook. And like I said, you can get it for about 10 bucks on Amazon, no problem. All the listening I provide within Blackboard, so you don't need anything extra with that. But you will need that textbook to be able to take your all of your quizzes, and also to just have the vocabulary for your discussion questions and also for your projects. All right, so basically you're going to be reading every week, having discussion questions most weeks, and then the other thing that, well, three things that are kind of important for this course is you're going to have a midterm project, a final project, and then a live performance critique. Now, if you do this a little bit at a time, plan ahead, work at it, just as we cover each section, do that section of the project, you will have no problem at all turning it in. It'll just be easy, no problem. So for the midterm project, this is a PowerPoint presentation that's going to be covering the history of Western music from the Middle Ages to the Baroque period. I'm not going to read the whole rubric to you. As you go through this and open up the assignment, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, no problem. What I'm probably going to do is make a discussion board, maybe for frequently asked questions. So if you have a question that you think probably other people would have the same question, just put it on there and we can all look at it and I could answer it for everybody at one time. Basically, the way you're going to think of this PowerPoint is if you were teaching this material to somebody, how would you present it? Now, I have specific parameters and I have a rubric that you're supposed to follow, but basically think of it like that, like you're trying to explain this information to somebody else. Again, I recommend you start this early. This project is due March 10th. You will also have a final project that's going to be due on May 5th. This will be your final. There is no final exam. The final project is your final exam, basically. And it's just a continuation of the midterm project. So basically, when you finish your midterm and your final project, it's just one big PowerPoint that is tracing the history of Western music from the Middle Ages to the present. And the other big thing that you need to make sure that you're aware of is the live performance. This is something you really do need to plan ahead for. The performance has to be attended within this semester. It can't be something you saw at Christmas time or anything. It's got to be within this semester. You're going to attend a live performance and then write a critique, and I have a very specific rubric for that as well. As you're writing this, there's a few things I want you to touch on that I'm not going to explain right now because you'll get these explanations as you go through the course. But if you're having trouble with certain sections, what I've done is I've put some YouTube videos with little mini lessons on things that people typically have a little trouble with meter, major, minor key, polyphonic, homophonic, monophonic. In case you are not really sure what that is, those videos will kind of help you through that, so you'll be able to address those for your critique. Now, if you find a performance in February, like let's say you go to Branson or something and go see a show, and you want to knock that performance or that live critique um, essay out, if you want to just knock that out early and then just send it to me, just give me a heads up that you're turning it in. I will grade it, and that'll be done. That'll be one less thing you have to worry about. You have until the 28th. It has to be turned in on the 28th. I can't accept those late because it'll take me longer to grade those, and my grades have to be in by a certain date. So I want to give myself plenty of time to grade those because they're writing assignments. And just also, I tell you what is an acceptable performance. Basically, if you got a kid that's in choir and you want to attend their performance, that'll count. That's totally fine. You know, got a nephew that's in the marching band, go to a marching band performance, no problem. I have no problem with that whatsoever. So read through the syllabus and just make sure that you are familiar with everything in that. Now, the other thing I wanted to kind of show you, the assignments. Okay, I'll just kind of show you week 1 here. Every week, pretty much, you're going to have a reading assignment. So basically, all you do is just read the pages that I have designated. You will need to read that for your quizzes. Sometimes I have a little extra tutorial videos, and they're usually very brief. Just watch them. They're usually pretty entertaining, and so just go ahead and watch those. You will have listening just about every week. Sometimes I've got videos here, sometimes I just have links. Basically, just click on the link, watch the video, just listen to the music, listen to it, and enjoy. There's nothing you have to turn in for the reading or the listening. And for this first week, I put in here just kind of giving you a heads up for the live performance critique and also the midterm project. You are also going to have a little quiz over the syllabus and a discussion question that's just basically an introduction. And for all the discussion questions, I give you specific questions that I want you to answer. For some of them, I ask you to respond to another classmate. And for some of them, it's just you just answer the questions and post it. There's a rubric for each one of them. And one thing that I just kind of wanted to just make sure that I mention, as we progress into the course, you are going to have to find musical examples and post them on the discussion board and answer specific questions about them. Now, sometimes people post wrong information, and I think sometimes it's just because a lot of the searches that you'll do for music for, like, say, the Renaissance and classical period, they'll be in another language. They'll be in Italian, they'll be in German. Make sure that you know what you're actually posting, because sometimes people post things that don't fit the parameters of the discussion. And just be aware, I will correct that on the discussion board. Now, that's not to embarrass anybody or call anybody out, but if I don't do that, I will leave misinformation on the board for everybody. So really kind of cross-check your information and make sure that it is correct. So that's basically my assignments. I'm probably going to do a little bit more, another video to explain a few more things. Again, if you have any questions, you can email me, put it on the frequently asked question discussion board, and I'll be glad to answer anything for you. Hope you enjoy the course.